In this video, I'll be hand assembling this brushless DC motor controller. It has a magnetic position sensor so it can accurately control the position of the motor. This is made possible thanks to the simple FOC library. So I'll take a bit of a look at the schematic. Here's the motor driver, it's our DRV8316, and the microcontroller is the ESP32 Pico V3. And the power has a LMR36506 buck converter with a MA702 magnetic encoder and the CAN transceiver. This project is open sourced. You can download the whole KiCad project in the description, so you can modify it if you like, or you can just use the Gerbers and send them off to get a PCB made. Here I've got the PCB and stencil from JLC PCB. The stencil is cut to 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters so that it's not too large. I'll tape down a few spare PCBs around my PCB to hold it in position. And then I'll tape down the stencil exactly in position. The solder paste I'm using is Chip Quick thermally stable solder paste, and it's a synthetic no clean. What this means is the solder paste doesn't need refrigeration to store it, and after it's been reflowed you don't need to clean off the flux. I'll load up the solder paste onto an old card. Then what I want to do is swipe it down in as few swipes as possible. This is probably a few too many. But it still turned out okay. Now it's time for the pick and place machine. Alright, that's all the parts on the board. Now it's time to reflow it. I don't have a reflow oven, so I'll be using this hot air gun. To protect my table, I'll use a ceramic coaster. Don't use silicone mats because they bulge when they get heated really hot. Now that's the board done. I'll just do a quick test to make sure there aren't any shorts across the power rails. And I'll hand solder the through the hole components. I'll tape together the connectors just so that they're a bit easier to solder. For the motor, I'll be using this 5208 size gimbal motor. And for the magnetic position sensor to work, I'll need to attach these magnets to the shaft. They're diametrically magnetized magnets. I'm using some CA glue to hold the magnet in position on the motor. And lastly, I'll solder the motor wires to the controller board. To attach the motor, I'll use some M3 screws and some ABS spacers. These ones are 5mm, but the size spacer you'll need will depend on the length of the shaft at the end of your motor and the thickness of the magnet. Now it's finished, it's ready to flash and start using it.